again, I thank you. So just a few of the objectives. I want to cover some of the, the basic history of New Jersey, where we've been, where we're headed, electronic nicotine delivery systems and what they're doing to our youth, the importance of youth advocacy in tobacco prevention, and also some of the state and local prevention efforts that are going on and some of the programs that are available through Tobacco Free for a Healthy New Jersey. Now, that being said, Tobacco Free for Healthy New Jersey has been made available through funding through New Jersey Department of Health. And we haven't had tobacco money from the state of New Jersey in quite a few years, probably about almost 10 years. So as I said, it's a very exciting time for us. So just to cover some basics, as we know, in April of 2006, New Jersey passed the first Smoke-Free Air Act, which covered all indoor and outdoor facilities, retail establishments, also all of the, the loose cigarettes, you couldn't have loose cigarettes anymore, the taxes. So it encompassed a whole lot more than just the indoor Smoke-Free Air Act that a lot of people refer to it as. And also at that time, the age of sale raised from 18 to 19 in 2006. Then in 2010, they actually amended the New Jersey Smoke-Free Air Act to include prohibiting the use of electronic cigarettes and other electronic. And we were actually the first state to do that. So that was very exciting. A lot of people still don't know that electronic smoking devices are illegal inside. So we've had people who are actually still smoking in restaurants, even the staff who are working at the restaurant, they don't even know that that's part of the law. So that's really up to our local health departments to really enforce that act, to make sure that everyone is aware of it, and we also do a lot of the merchant education and the education out in the community to make sure everyone is aware of the amended law. So from 2000 to 2010, we had the New Jersey Comprehensive Tobacco Control Program, and their purpose was to decrease death, sickness, disability among residents who use tobacco or are exposed to secondhand smoke. They also had funding that was available after the master settlement. And one of the great programs that came out of that, and I wanted to just touch base for some of those people who may have still worked in the field back 10 years ago, was Rebel program, and that was reaching everyone by exposing lies. And they were a youth anti-tobacco program for teens from 2000 to about 2011. And they really focused on the fight against big tobacco. They did educational programs, they did events in the community, really getting everyone involved from school, from Sussex County down to Cape May, because all 21 counties had it. And I think in 2007, they had about 76 schools. I think there was more as time went on. And they really worked on recruitment, advocacy, reading, mentoring, and youth empowerment, because the voice of our youth is so much important in fighting the big tobacco of today. Unfortunately, there were some changes in tobacco funding. In 2010, we were rated the lowest in terms of anti-tobacco funding from the state. And unfortunately, 2011, all this, and that also Rebel, and they were no longer funded, and those programs started to fall away. Now, the good news is some of the schools throughout New Jersey were able to maintain Rebel in some form. Either they still call themselves Rebel or some altered name of Rebel, to keep those anti-tobacco programs going in the schools and in the communities. The Office of Tobacco Control was renamed the Office of the Comprehensive Tobacco Control Program was then renamed and continue to work on those efforts with the able to have some CDC and some other funding, private funding and from different sources to still address the issue of tobacco in New Jersey. So the Office of Tobacco Control was restructured once again, and it's now called the Office of Tobacco-Free Nutrition and Fitness. So we work very closely with NJDOH on these efforts, and also the New Jersey Prevention Network is actually our grantee. We are the sub-grantees for them. Advocacy for tobacco efforts does continue. As I said, we didn't have that state funding for quite some time, but efforts still continued. We still worked towards making smoke-free parks and recreation areas, working on the tobacco age of sale. I'm happy to report that in November of 17, it went from 19 to 21. We did a lot of education in the community through the point of sale through our Stomp Out program, which really, did a lot of merchant education and audits to determine, how much they were marketing to our youth, and trying to educate the merchants on making sure that the importance of the age of sale from 19 to 21. As of January 19th, I think it was January 16th of 2019, we adopted the ordinance for to make all outdoor parks and recreation areas smoke-free, which includes our public beaches. So that is another effort that we've been working on. We have a lot of signage that can go out in the community that we are really trying to get out through our youth and through our partners to have that signage up so people know that that has been an ordinance that has been passed. So this all started in December of 2018 with our Surgeon General sent out an advisory. For years, tobacco use in our youth was really starting to decrease, even in adult. We really saw a decrease. And a lot of those efforts were, exactly what the Rebel students were doing to really educate and trying to make our communities tobacco free. Unfortunately, a new product came out, the e-cigarette, and as you can see, the youth school and middle school students increased drastically from 2011 to 2015. And we're really calling this an epidemic. And if you work on any of the schools or with youth, you'll really hear a lot about the problem that it's really been causing. The current e-cigarette use increased 78% among high school students during the past year. Nationally, 1 in 5 school students and 1 in 20 middle school students likely use e-cigarettes. And it's even sadder to tell you that this is happening in our middle schools even more and more. And if you think the kids don't know about it, you're very wrong. A lot of parents don't know as much as the students do. So we really are taking action now to protect our youth and really educate people, because they think that this vapor is just a water vapor and it's really harmless, and it's actually not. It's really an aerosol. And the fact that all of these products contain nicotine and high doses of nicotine and nicotine salts. And it's much more addictive, and we really can't gauge exactly how much nicotine these students are being exposed to. And as we know, nicotine exposure during adolescence can really harm the developing brain, which doesn't really stop growing until about the age of 25. So if we think about, the younger these students are starting to use these products, the more addicted they're going to become, and perhaps lead to, to other addiction and other drug use. So that's been a real issue. And the other problem with these e-cigarettes and these products is the flavors. You have people who never smoked before, and students who never smoked before, they taste good, and their friends are using them, and they share, and then before you know it, they're addicted through the nicotine that they didn't even know that was in there. And a lot of these products were marketed at first to be like a harm reduction model, that they're safer than the use of traditional combustible tobacco products. And we're really finding that that is not the case. Just another statistic, 41.7% of high school students currently use any tobacco product, and 33.3% of middle school students. Now, this is a great infographic that is available through the FDA. You can go on their website and order this so that you can distribute them in your communities. And here's another really disturbing statistic. Almost 5 million youth currently use any tobacco product, and about 40% of youth who use tobacco products use 2 or more products. And what we're really seeing is an increase in dual use, because these the kids are starting to use these e-cigarettes and these products, and before you know it, they're using other nicotine products and they're becoming dual users. And over 3.6 million youth use e-cigs, making them the most commonly used tobacco product. I know that it's not the same in all communities, because in some communities, the cigarillos and the other products, the combustible tobacco products, are still being used because of maybe the cost or the access. But so that's why while we're focusing on e-cigarettes and vaping, we're not forgetting about the traditional tobacco products that are still available. So this is just a little picture of some of the products that are out there. I know that for the longest time, we were really concerned about Juul. Unfortunately, Juul didn't go away, but they did remarket themselves, and they're really targeting themselves as being a smoking cessation device. There are no approved e-cigarettes or ENDS products that have been approved or even applied for approval to be used as a smoking cessation device. So don't be fooled by the new marketing of Juul and their choice not to have the various flavors. Unfortunately, the problem is the students are just moving on from product to product. That's why it's very important to really maintain your knowledge and really keep up with the times as far as what products are available out there. And here's just another example. You could go on and on. If you walk into any market, you can probably find the various products that are available. So the good news is we now have allocated 1% of tobacco sales tax to be dedicated to tobacco cessation, education, and prevention. And we really thank the New Jersey Department of Health for reaching out and starting these programs with the help of New Jersey Prevention Network. So we're really starting to focus on getting these products the education and the prevention efforts out. And these are just some of the focus areas that I'll talk about later, but I really want to focus on today is talking about the youth. So our Tobacco Free for Healthy New Jersey's Tobacco Action Group program just kind of kicked off in January of this year. It's a prevention and cessation program for youth 13 to 18 years old, and it's being implemented in every county. And their goal really is that across the state, we are going to try to make our communities tobacco free with the voice of the youth and their campaigns. So we have, as I said, there's a youth coordinator in every county, and we're broken up into regions, 3 regions. It's the North, the Central, and the South. And as you can see here, you can find where you're located. And these are the regional coordinators who help those county youth coordinators to really organize their groups and start really implementing and recruiting their youth tobacco action group in each county. So we're really targeting the target audience 13 to 8-year-olds. We're using a youth engagement model. We have county youth groups and also a statewide youth advisory groups with representation from each of the counties. And we're really kicking all that off. We had our first meeting a month and a half ago with our youth state advisory board. I'm also going to talk about some of the other things that are coming down the pike. So all of the activity on is associated with those products that I was talking about, the ends get about those. We don't want to see it going back up as it has in the past. So with the support and appropriate of the youth engagement and the community change models. So some of the campaigns and all of the campaigns that we're working on are going to be youth-based. So all of the input is going to come from the youth with the assistance and the guidance of the youth coordinators and some of our other partners. But we really want the youth to be engaged and have a voice in creating all of these campaigns. We're going to work towards counter-marketing and media advocacy because we know exactly, everybody's always on their phone, they're on YouTube, the internet. We really want to make sure that we get those media advocacy and those counter-marketing tools in place. We really want to make a social norm change. I know that Rebelle was able to really work on that and do that back 10 years ago with the traditional combustible tobacco products. We're really, really hoping and really think this is going to be great that the youth have the opportunity to make a social norm change in their environment and their communities. And of course, we're going to be conducting social media campaigns to be able to reach the youth. If you've ever gone on to some of those YouTube channels and seen, they're smoking and they're having those, blowing those clouds, and they're competing against each other. We really want to start changing that social norm and not making that something that's an exciting thing to do, but educating them about the harmful effects of that. One of our other great initiatives, as I was talking about, is the point of sale policies that we have in place. As I said, it's the age to sale is 21 and doing merchant education. So we're really having the youth come out with our staff and our community members to educate the merchants and really make sure that they know exactly what's in place for, as far as policy and the law. We are looking to change the, increase the tax, making cigarettes even more expensive. If you've ever gone over to New York City or New York State, the price you pay for a pack of cigarettes is compared to what the price is in Pennsylvania, where people often come right over the border in our area, because we really want to work on. We'll be starting to work with our youth to help us be advocates for changing, changing the flavors that are out there, and also regulating all of our vaping, the stores, the vape shops and all that good stuff. So a lot of fun stuff coming down the pike for these guys. And as I said, it's really important engaging the youth and empowering them. If you look over to the one corner, you'll see Governor Schumer, and he is actually working with one of the youth advocates in New York State to change the policies so that there's no more flavors available. Because, as of right now, most of the products still have all of those great flavors, of creme brulee, and I think one of them is even called the rainbow puke. If I'm getting that right. But yeah, there's all kinds of different flavors. So really working on passing policies that will not allow those flavors to be sold. So for our state youth advisory group, as I said, we have representatives that we've recruited from each of the counties. They're really going to be bringing the messages from their county to the state working group to really start working with New Jersey Department of Health and New Jersey Prevention Network to start these campaigns. And so they're really going to be a voice for their peers, and we're really kicking that off very soon. Some of the annual initiatives that not only the Rebelle students work on, but so are the youth tobacco action groups are going to be working on it as well. Every year there's Kick Butts Day. There's a whole list of activities that are available if you ever visit the Kick Butts Day website. They have all kinds of things that can be used not just for Kick Butts Day, but can be used throughout the year at any youth group that you may have.
Kim?
She's not here.
Oh, okay,
Sorry about that. Of course, there's a Great American Smokeout, and also this month, I'm happy to say, there's World No Tobacco Day. So I gave you all of the links there so that you can check out World Tobacco Day. That's on May 31st, which is coming up in just 2 days. So you can advocate with your community on those initiatives. And all of our YTAG groups are going to be working on that as well. So some of the starting point activities, I talked a little bit about the New Jersey Stomp Out. That's the point of sale initiative where they're doing the merchant education and the counter marketing. That's one avenue that I could share with everybody. Also, Be the One app. This is an app that's on your phone. The students and even the adults can download it, and then they can take a picture, which is creating an environmental scan. It can either be a positive picture or it could be a negative picture. So for example, a positive picture, the clean air, the parks, the smoke-free parks and recreation areas. And then they can upload that to the website, to the app. Sorry about that. And it'll mark it. It goes to each county. So say you're from Morris County, you would load a county, and they would either give it a negative or a positive connotation. So you can have, maybe you want to take a picture of a bunch of cigarette butts at our door. And that would be obviously a negative connotation. We have the signage that the youth can take to maybe a town council meeting or a freeholders meeting or wherever, a town hall meeting, any kind of meeting and provide the signs to their towns and their counties to be able to, post these signs so people know that our areas are smoke-free. So not only do we have the youth doing all of these campaigns, we think it's also very important as another component of working with our youth is to have comprehensive school tobacco policies. Now, I know a lot of schools have policies they haven't been updated in a lot of cases to deal with the bathroom during the school day because they don't want to deal with other people that may be vaping. They're afraid that they may get in trouble just by being in there. Really comprehensive. So it can be used all together, so you can have the whole template and redo your whole policy, or you can actually just take pieces out of this template and, to update your existing policies. So we've been working with our partners, the New Jersey School Board Association, Legal One, to help develop the policy and meet their needs. So this is something that's going to be rolled out very soon. Actually, it's going to be rolled out next week, so that's very exciting. So part of the philosophy of this policy is that we know we need to provide safe and healthy school environments to our students so that they can learn. It's supposed to be a learning environment, not a vaping environment. Tobacco and smoking is a known safety hazard. It's a health hazard that needs to be addressed. And as I said earlier, we know that cigarettes are on the decline, but the end use has really become an epidemic. Right is to prevent youth initiation of smoking, to reduce the access to tobacco and resources to students who may actually be addicted to these end products. And a lot of tobacco intervention opportunities that are available, bringing all of these together in one policy. Some key considerations, we definitely want to add in there, what is an electronic cigarette? And vapes, and to educate not only the parents, but the students and the educators. A lot of the educators see stuff and they're not really sure exactly what it is that they're seeing, or they may not even, may be happening right in front of their eyes. So really educating everybody on what these products are. And in the policy, we're focusing on primary, secondary, and tertiary interventions, including all kinds of educational components and cessation opportunities. Another key consideration, and we know that some schools have turned to Smoke-Free Air Act. There's not supposed to be smoking anywhere on school grounds, on school buildings, or even outside, which means athletic fields. So it's really important to have the signage available and placed in appropriate areas of schools. And to understand and compare other drugs and alcohol, I know a big concern with a lot of is the fact that tobacco, is it THC, is it something else? So part of the policy also addresses those issues as far as if somebody is suspected of having a controlled substance other than tobacco or nicotine.
We're doing, is this for Middlesex Day?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you that well.
So Nick had his,
Yeah, we're having a little trouble with audio, Tracy. Would you maybe, I'm trying to think, would we maybe like have you switch to a phone or maybe sign out, sign back in? Do you think it's your internet?
They could also type in the chat.
What's that? You type in the chat?
I think there was some background noise, and I think she thought it was a question, but
Okay, no problem. As long as I'm just going to move on then, if that's okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. So as part of our education and outreach, we really wanted to offer a more non-punitive approach to the school policy and, violating the code of conduct. A lot of schools now, part of their policy is a student's caught with a vape or tobacco product, and they receive 3 to 7 days of out-of-school suspension, and it really varies around the state. So one of the opportunities we want to offer and educate schools about is perhaps adopting an in-school suspension or an alternative to the out-of-school suspension that is now being utilized. And one of the programs that we have, it's called Aspire. It's through MD Anderson. And I sent the link there so you can actually look at it. There you can go on that link and find the preview of it. However, so the NJDOH has signed an MOA with MD Anderson to be able to use this program. It's called Aspire, and it is an online program. It's available in both English and Spanish at this time, no other languages at this time, but that may change in the future. And it talks about the dangers of alcohol, the dangers of tobacco, nicotine use, the big tobacco, vaping, and it's an online program where the student logs in and they get they pick an avatar, and they go through modules, of educational modules talking about all of these issues, and they can't move on from one module until they finish it. So they can't skip to the end and say that they did the whole thing. And the great part of it is there's an administrative end where whoever is administering it to the student can keep track of them so that they know exactly their progress through the program. And it's an educational program, and it also talks about smoking cessation and resources for that. And as I said, whoever is, it might be the SAC or a teacher or whoever is administering the Aspire program to them can actually keep their progress. And at the end, they get a certificate so that they, so it's a great alternative to just sending a student home. Maybe they can, do this as a part of an in-school suspension. So we have that being rolled out with the toolkit that we're offering to schools. And that'll be coming out really soon. And it's available no charge. That all of this is no charge to the schools. One other resource that we really like is a smoke-free teen. As we know, our teens are not going to follow the traditional routes that adults would take for a tobacco cessation program, such as a one-on counseling or a group setting. They're on their phones all the time. So this is actually an app that they can download, and it acts as sends appropriate messages and reminders about not smoking. That's just one of the other resources. The Truth Initiative also has the free text program that's really tailored by age to the teens or young adults. And they have one, it's called oh my goodness, my mind just went blank. The Truth, there's two of them on there. One is Be Smoke Free, and the other one is, my mind just completely went blank. Sorry about that. But log on to the Truth Initiative and you can follow the smoking cessation, and it has both of those programs. So unfortunately, even although there's not really a smoking cessation program that utilizes nicotine replacement therapy because that's not approved, and the studies have shown that it's really not as effective for youth as it is for adults. There's a whole movement that's going on. There was just a meeting with the FDA on March 15th or May 15th. There was you could watch it as a webinar, or you could attend in person, but it was a whole forum. There is still the traditional one-on-one counseling and group counseling that is available for adults, but it's really not tailored to youth as much, and the idea that youth might use that we're not really sure how effective that's going to be for them. So there are things in the works. So more information to follow, and we'll be happy to share anything that we find out and anything that we're involved with. One opportunity I do want to share is that comprehensive school policy training that's coming up. So if you have a school administrator or any decision maker that's from your school would like to attend these trainings, they are free of charge. The central one is coming up on June 4th. The South is June 5th, and the Northern regional training will be on June 7th. These provide like a vaping education, talk about prevention, cessation, and that important policy piece. So we have a whole toolkit that we're rolling out to school administrators and school decision makers on those dates. So if you're interested in that, just contact me and I'll be happy to share that information. We did just finish up 6 trainings. They were called where the participant come to the trainings and learn all about vaping and take back with them these programs. There was a adult to adult piece, an adult to youth piece, and a youth to youth. So more of those trainings should be coming up in the fall, so we'll keep you informed about the availability of those. Have a copy stating in the Youth Tobacco Action Program, and please feel free to reach out to me, get them so that they can join in. We are having a youth tobacco kickoff, our first statewide event on June 1st, which is this Saturday, which is quite exciting, where all of the youth are coming together at I Play America. And we're going to roll out some of the, the campaign that we have, give the youth more information, recruiting some new people who aren't already part of the program. So if anybody's interested in that, please also give me a call, contact me about that. So just some of the other initiatives I just want to go over real quickly. Some of the other initiatives that were made available through this new tobacco. We placed in the areas that were identified as being really high tobacco and vape rates. So Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland, Salem, Hudson, Mercer, Middlesex, Monmouth, Ocean, Essex, Passaic, Union. So those are where they're located right now, and some of them do, I think most of them have nicotine replacement therapy that's available through them. So if you go on Tobacco Free for a Healthy NJ website, which I'll have that information at the end of this presentation, you can get, you can log into the quit centers and share that information with the people that you may work with. But one other option is NJ Quit Line. It's a telephone counseling service. So basically you send in this form or you go online and register, and within it's usually a 24-hour turnaround, a tobacco coach will contact the person who is looking for smoking cessation, and they also offer 2 weeks of nicotine replacement therapy for those who qualify. There are a little health, form that they have to make sure that they fill out and pass, so that they know that they are healthy enough to take the nicotine replacement therapy. But if you combine this New Jersey Quit Line phone counseling with an in-person, you can possibly get anybody you work with, or possibly yourself free. So it's a really great initiative for smoking cessation. A lot of things are. One other initiative is the New Jersey colleges and universities. So I'm happy to report we do have quite a few colleges who have passed a completely 100% tobacco-free policy, which means no smoking on their entire campus. And then there's some that have developed policies regarding, specific areas or, made smoking cessation opportunities available. But there's also to participate
Tracy, I think you froze up a little bit. Would you mind repeating the last bit?
worksite places.
Oh, I think we lost Tracy. I'm going to ask her to log back in. Sorry about this, everyone. We're trying to get Tracy back on.
Tracy,
Yes,
they're calling you from the webinar.
I know, I
You
can't-
cut out, and I'm sure you realize
I
that.
do realize it. I can't get, there's no internet service in here.
So they want to talk to you online too.
Okay.
Tracy, we can hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
I can hear you. I lost internet, so I'm calling on my phone. I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea why I have any internet. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Tracy, if you can make sure you mute your computer line completely as well, we're getting a little feedback on our side.
Can you hear me?
That's much better.
I'm so sorry about that. Where did I lose everybody? Because I didn't realize I didn't have internet service.
Let's go back a slide. Sorry about that, everyone.
Did you hear me talk about the colleges?
Yeah, kind of. I would do that again.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Gotta love technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the initiative for the colleges. We're working with all of the colleges in New Jersey, well, trying to recruit all the colleges in New Jersey to pass 100% tobacco-free policies. And there are some grant funding available for colleges who are interested in getting assistance with passing those policies. And the link is at the bottom of the page, or it's available through Tobacco Free for a Healthy New Jersey. And then we have the tobacco-free work sites. We're working with and trying to recruit work sites who are interested in passing policies. We're trying to target work sites who have a large youth base, like 18 to 29-year-olds. One of the places that we're working with right now is trying to recruit M&M Mars because they're working on a work site wellness themselves. So that's a great initiative if you have a work site that you may work with or that you work at and you're interested in passing those policies. We're also working on making smoke-free housing for multi-dwelling locations, working with a lot of housing authorities on passing policies to make sure that their patrons don't smoke there. And here's just more information from the New Jersey Prevention Network, Tobacco Free for a Healthy New Jersey, and the New Jersey Department of Health. All the initiatives that I talked about and all of the things that are on this presentation are available links on those websites so that you can visit those as well. And I'll be happy to give those to Yonatan so you can have them. And here's just my contact information. I apologize for losing internet service. I have no idea how that possibly happened, but does anybody have any questions for me?
Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat.
Did you have more on? What? After you help us connect to it?
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
somebody asked, is it a frustration to you that the increase of use for vaping devices is finally increasing available funding for prevention?
Is it a frustration?
Do
I would.
you see the chat here? Is it a frustration to you?
Meaning that it wasn't available before? I think that's what they probably mean. I think we're just happy to have the money to do the tobacco education and the vaping education to address these issues. Yes, I can provide an email what the question is, can you provide an email address and where I could find the 11 cessation clinics that you mentioned? If you log into, let me see if I could share the screen.
They were listed in the presentation, right?
Yeah, I'll just give you the tobacco-free for tobaccofreenj.com. And you can also go to njpn.org.
Awesome. Let's see. Any other questions?
Great. Well, thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to be on. And again, I apologize for that problem that we had there. I'll give my information and those links to so that he can post them and share to NJ Sophie.
Yes. So thanks everyone for signing on. Check back on the NJ Sophie forum or forum email updates for the details on other webinars and in-person training opportunities coming up. There's still time to register for the mid-year meeting. The theme is technology and health, and registration is going to be open until this Friday. So try and register as soon as you can, and also save the date for our next webinar called "Can Data Make a Dent in Addressing Social Determinants of Health?" And that'll be hosted by Linda Brown, Robin Blomist, and Candace Davenport on Thursday, June 20th at 10:30 a.m. And there will be emails going out for that soon too. And everyone have a nice day. Oh, Tracy, you want to answer a quick question? Someone has a quick question at the end.
Yes. Yes. If you do go to the website, they have a listing of which colleges have accepted a full listing, a full policy, a partial policy, or are working on it. What is the other question? Tobacco-free website. Yes. So yes, they do list the universities that have accepted it.
Awesome. So, Tracy, we can email to include some of the resources that were included in the slides. And I'll send that out with the eval.
Sure, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, have a great day.